And let's now talk to somebody who's a real expert in Jammu and Kashmir and who's been talking a lot about the steps that need to be taken forward, looking ahead in Jammu and Kashmir. India's ex-spy master and a real authority in Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. A.S. Dulat. Well, Mr. Dulat, always a pleasure to talk to you and to get your sense of what is happening. It's increasingly rare that you actually agree to come and talk, so it's good to talk to you. You must be have kept a very close eye on what's happened with G20, and it's a major positive that India was able to successfully pull off this entire G20 event in Srinagar with all the world's diplomats out there. How do you interpret what's happened in Srinagar this week?
No, I think it's a very good, positive thing that it's happening. This is a question that I tried to answer to Karan with my last interview. He asked me the same thing. I said, I think it's a great move because it shows that there's normality there, and whatever we're trying to project. But I thought that, this was perhaps not the best time because this is the peak tourist season. And however we look at it, for these 3, 4, 5 days, it's going to disrupt tourism, because Srinagar has been turned into a sort of a fortress with a lot of security all around. So it's not the ideal sort of situation for tourists. But I'm sure tourists will come back and things will be all right. The other thing is the negative part of whatever is happening in Srinagar is that the Muslim countries have opted out. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt, and of course China. So, the Kashmiris look at it like this, that the Muslims then are in support of us. We have problems. And the Muslim countries haven't come. The only Muslim representation there is from Indonesia, I think. And the diplomats that you talk about, I'm told that other than Singapore, whose ambassador is there, they are low-level people from the embassies. So all these things get noted. Kashmiri he doesn't miss anything, And the general sense in Kashmir, although they are reconciled to 370 and all that, they know it's gone. But it's not a very happy state of affairs in Kashmir. That there is nothing happening. There's nothing positive from the Kashmiri point of view. And I've always said time and time again that the way forward, if you want to move forward, is that you revive the old political and democratic process.
Okay, I'm going to discuss all of those in some detail, but obviously first the G20 aspect. Do you think India was successful in sending a certain message on the global stage on Jammu and Kashmir? The fact that a G20 event could be held and held safely and successfully in Srinagar, did that help in projecting a certain image? Yes, a couple of countries didn't come, but overall, was there a certain image that was successfully projected to the rest of the world?
Yeah, I think it does in a sense that, you've got so many diplomats there and you've got them in Srinagar and they'll go back home to Delhi or wherever safely. I think it's a good positive thing because, one of the problems in Kashmir is that even bureaucrats from Delhi don't visit Kashmir. And the setup that we have in Kashmir, because there's a lieutenant governor in charge, most of the bureaucrats in Kashmir today are outsiders. So that again is resented locally. Who do we talk to? There's no Kashmiri here. So the general feeling in Kashmir is that the worst government is better than what we have. Because at least it will be our people and we'll be able to approach somebody.
So basically you're saying build on this and at some point the political process should restart now.
Absolutely. I don't see it happening, but I do feel it should restart. Incidentally, today, Chomsky has made a very powerful statement criticizing this whole business of holding G20 in Srinagar. And that has been put out by the Hurriyat Conference. The Hurriyat itself has not said anything, but they put out Chomsky on the post,
So on that question, Mr. Dulat, obviously, look, the hold of the Hurriyat clearly does seem to be going down. And even when it comes to Pakistan, given the chaos and the mayhem that is taking place inside Pakistan, you could argue that the ability of Pakistan to be seen as effective in anything, including in Jammu and Kashmir, has gone down dramatically. Would you agree with that view? And does that, therefore, throw up certain opportunities as well?
I do agree with it. Pakistan is in a hell of a mess. But for the Kashmiri, he still holds out. It's not that the Kashmiri wants to go to Pakistan or join Pakistan. That's long over. And let me also make it clear that the Hurriyat is dead. There is no Hurriyat. Separatism is over. There's just one gentleman who is, under house arrest, who is still of substance. And I think we are wasting him, and that's the meanwhile. Because he's sufficiently mainstream. And I don't think there is much difference between him and the National Conference or Mehbooba or whatever it is that they're thinking. But since he doesn't have a say, and he's been kept in his house, he can't come to the mosque even. So it's a nothing thing there. I don't think separatism is an issue, and I don't think in the sense that you mentioned, Pakistan is not an issue. But what I want to try to say is that Pakistan provides that little sort of support or hope that if India and Pakistan have a better relationship, then things in Kashmir will improve. That's the way the Kashmiri looks at it.
Right, Mr. Dulat, but if I can just put it to you, I don't see New Delhi having too much interest in talking to Pakistan right now, especially given the mess that Pakistan is. Whom are you going to talk to in Pakistan? Who is actually in charge out there? And even if you do talk to somebody in Pakistan, are they in any position to deliver on anything that they might say to you? There could be an argument made that, look, Kashmir is an internal matter. That's the way it should be viewed. This could be an opportunity to do something internally more attractive than talking to Pakistan. Take advantages of the opportunity that there could be in the valley right now, especially after G20. As you were saying, separatism could be dead. Pakistan is in a mess and may have been wiped out. Not that much violence or militancy taking place right now. Restart some political dialogue, perhaps internally. Talk to your own people, do something internally, and ignore Pakistan. Would that be a particular point of view on how to take things forward now?
Absolutely. But I'd like to correct you here on one little point that you made, that militancy or terrorism is down. Recently in the Jammu area, things have been pretty bad. There have been 2-3 very bad attacks on the army there. And if you know that area, the Poonch Rajouri area, the army is in full control there. It may be the Rashtriya Rifles or whatever it is, and it's been deadly attacks there. And it's a vulnerable area. It's not easy. And that Bimbar Gully and Surancoat and all that thing, it's not the end of it, to my way of thinking. And I'm also apprehensive that most of the militancy, and I make a differentiate between militancy and terrorism. I would like to think that militancy is our homegrown thing, boys in South Kashmir mostly. But what happens in the north, that's the deadliest attacks take place there, because that's where the foreign terrorists are. And whether they are in Baramulla or Sopore or Kupwara, we don't know. You know that in the last couple of years, we've had attacks in Srinagar, which never happened after the early 90s. They have targeted whoever they like, and quite a few Kashmiri Pandits have been killed. That lady who was a teacher in a sick lady in a school, she was shot, and outside laborers have been killed. So, it's not over. And I would think that even whatever mess Pakistan may be in, which it is, the ISI is still functioning.
All right, Mr. Dulat, thank you so much. Always a pleasure talking to you. Build on G20, build on the G20 summit in Srinagar by taking steps forward in Jammu and Kashmir is your advice. Thank you so much for joining us.